The world called me a god because my computer linked to a 2D world. I could grant them things from reality. And a kitchen knife I casually gave them became their divine artifact, while the offerings from those little people entered reality. But what I never expected was that their very first offering nearly scared us to death. When I opened the game Pixel God, a voice suddenly echoed in my mind. On this day, the world finally welcomed back its great god. Your arrival has given this world meaning again. When I came back to myself, the scene on my computer changed. A flat green field appeared on the screen, surrounded by forests and rivers, with a white domed temple in the center. Then, the voice rang out again, "This is your temple. Please name it." My name was Lin Yao, so I named it Yao Temple. Just then, two barefoot, bare-chested little men appeared. They moved toward the temple and kept walking around it. An exclamation mark popped above one head. What a magnificent house. It must have been made by a god. The other little man raised both hands. This is a sign from God. A blessed land. We must bring more people to settle here. The land of divine revelation. Smiley faces appeared over both their heads, and they ran off screen. Seconds later, they returned with 5 more little people. The 7 of them gathered around the temple and built a small hut nearby, a tiny thatched hut. Then they moved in berry bushes from outside the screen and began living beside the temple. A prompt appeared on the screen. You have gained this world's first believers. Faith power is how you perform miracles. Gather more faith. A small human icon appeared at the top right, representing population. Beside it was a palace icon, showing believers and total faith points. As expected, one believer only gave 1 point of faith. I opened the faith menu and saw a locked ball of light. It was called a miracle and needed enough faith to unlock. The most basic one was rain, but there were stronger miracles too. Agar's fire. The sea god imprisoned a furnace and turned it into a wonder that fired huge flaming stones. Looking at these miracles, I started thinking. In other words, I needed 10 believers to cast even one basic miracle. So increasing population came first. Unlike other management sims, this life simulator could not directly build houses or create residents. I had to wait for the pixel people to gather or multiply. I watched them farm for a while, then noticed the people around the temple were acting strangely. Sad faces appeared over their heads as they worshipped around the temple. Great God, please show yourself. Please bless us. Great God, the forest tribe says we worship a demon. They want to tear down the temple. Please show a miracle. I understood at once. This was their first crisis, but I only had 7 faith points, not even enough for rain, so I kept exploring. Finally, clicking the temple opened a new interface. In the center was a stone campfire with a gray humanoid statue before it. Its face was too vague to identify, as if it was their imagined image of God. Before the statue was a long table with 2 placement slots on it. The large left slot said offering, and the small right slot said blessing. Both were empty for now. Offering was easy to understand, but blessing should mean power or items granted by their god. Was this the miracle they wanted? But then I noticed something strange. Why did that long table look familiar? Wait, that table looked exactly like my computer desk. The offering slot was shaped just like my keyboard. And the blessing slot was oval. Could it be my mouse? And that statue they worshipped, wasn't it me? The thought startled me. Then a bold idea rose in my mind. Carefully, I placed a garlic clove on my mouse and stared at it with expectation. 2 seconds later, it rolled off, so it was a coincidence. I laughed at myself, but right then, the fallen garlic clove vanished into thin air. I instinctively looked at the screen. Inside the temple's blessing slot, there was now a pixel garlic icon. When I clicked it, a line of text appeared, God's blessing. A special spice. And also a medicinal herb. Do you wish to grant garlic to your believers? My whole body trembled. I ran around my rented room, then washed my face with cold water. Once I calmed down and returned to the desk, the blessing slot really did contain garlic, which meant the garlic in my hand had entered the temple through my mouse. I had no idea what this game really was, or how it could break through dimensions, but I wanted to see what would happen when reality in the game world interacted like this, so I clicked yes. Around the temple, the worshipping little people all got exclamation marks over their heads. God has answered. God has sent a miracle. Great God, thank you for granting us garlic. Garlic bestowed by God. After kneeling and praying, they spread the news. Their expressions all turned into smiles. Then they got busy, working together to open up farmland. Tiny sprouts grew in the field, slowly becoming green seedlings. A message appeared on screen. Your blessing has taught your believers to plant and use garlic. Their faith has increased. The faith value at the top right jumped from 7 to 22, so blessings could quickly earn faith. Then I found a pencil on my desk. Thinking tools should help a tribe, but when I opened the page, the garlic was still there. When I clicked it, a prompt appeared. Garlic is merging into the world. Please wait patiently. So I had to give up for now. I had only just started this game, and many systems were still unclear. About half an hour later, a group of little people ran in, all wearing leather vests. Their leader wore a horned helmet and carried a wooden club. They surrounded the temple with torches. The demon hut must be destroyed. Burn it! Burn it! Burn it down! These were the forest tribe people who believed the temple worshipped a demon. All 7 temple believers got exclamation marks. This is God's palace. The Yao temple. God has sent down a miracle, the divine garlic, but the forest tribe ignored them and kept shouting for fire. I opened the miracle menu and hovered over the first one, rain. If I made it rain, with these primitive people's understanding, they would probably think God was angry. But then I thought, no. If I was going to act, I should make it big. My eyes moved down the list. Miracles were ordered by faith cost. Rain cost 10, lightning 20, fire 25, hurricane 30, earthquake 40. With only 22 faith, I locked onto lightning. This was the one, so I selected it. The cursor became a draggable target area with a range indicator. I shrank the range and aimed it right at the forest tribe leader's head. As the saying goes, strike the loudest first. With great power comes great responsibility. So let me grant you heavenly thunder. With one light click, a bolt of lightning fell from the pixel sky and struck the horned helmet man, blasting him and 2 nearby men into ash. The rest of the forest tribe froze in terror, then scattered and ran. Only the 7 temple believers remained, with angry faces over their heads. Serves you right. You angered God. This is the fate of blasphemers. I was very satisfied. Being worshipped as a god felt amazing. I relaxed, and my neck started to ache. The game had few controls, but a strange pull to it. Before I knew it, it was midnight, though I was reluctant. I shut the computer and went to bed. After all, I had work tomorrow. Lying in bed, half asleep, I thought, if I could create disasters and keep granting real-world objects to the people in the game world, then to those pixel people, I really was no different from a god. The next day after work, I eagerly opened God Simulator and clicked continue. The familiar pixel scene unfolded again. I sighed in relief. Good, the save was fine. But the scene surprised me. There were now 5 huts beside the temple, with a small field in front of each one, all planted with garlic. The population at the top right had become 30, and faith was 25. I did the math. After yesterday's lightning strike, faith had only been 2. Now it was 25, an increase of 23 points, and the population rose by 23 too, proving my guess was right. Under normal conditions, each new person gave 1 faith point. More importantly, even when the game was not open, it continued running. A prompt appeared. Your followers are now enough to form a tribe. Please name it. I casually typed the word garlic, following the simple naming style of ancient times. Their Holy Land's specialty was my gifted garlic, so Garlic Tribe made sense. Your miracles and blessings have officially founded the Garlic Tribe. Yao Temple is now known to distant people. I focused my attention on the newly arrived population. Those 23 new pixel people were all wearing leather vests, completely different from the original 7 barefoot locals. They were from the forest tribe. Some of the forest tribe's pixel people had joined the temple's side and settled here. Last night's lightning tactic worked instantly. Whether it was fear or worship, it had drawn them over. With more followers, simple roles appeared. The tribe members no longer only planted garlic and picked berries. 2 began hunting in the forest, and another tried catching fish by hand. Overall, the garlic tribe was still primitive. Everyone was working for food. I opened the temple interface. The garlic in the blessing slot was still on cooldown, and it looked long. If I had known real things could be sent into the pixel world, I would have picked wheat. That could solve early food shortages, or I could send them a bow. With archery, hunting would be much easier, and they could resist the forest tribe. Then my gaze shifted down, and I saw something that was not there before. A red item sat in the offering slot. I moved my cursor over it. It was a red creature curled up tightly, like some kind of newborn animal. The text said, Garlic Tribe Infant, an offering to God. My face twitched. Offering a living human did fit primitive worship customs. A prompt appeared. Do you wish to accept the Garlic Tribe Infant offered by your believers? I decisively clicked no. If a baby suddenly appeared in my home, how could I explain that? The police would invite me in for tea. And even worse, what if the Garlic Tribe kept sending babies? Just thinking of formula and diapers made my scalp go numb. Bro, I am your god, not your tribe's babysitter. After I rejected the offering, exclamation marks popped over the entire tribe. God is not pleased. God does not want babies. I told you, not babies. It should be adults who can farm and pick fruit. No, it should be prey, the finest prey. God will surely like wild boar. I think fish are the best. Find a new offering. Watching their conversation, I nearly laughed and cried, but if they sent wild game or river fish, I could make a late-night snack. The tribe left 5 people behind, while everyone else ran toward nearby forests and mountain areas. They looked all around, as if searching for the right offering. Then I noticed one pixel person who stood out. He was one of the first 7 believers, bare-chested and barefoot outside the temple, looking up at the sky. A question mark appeared over his head. When I moved my cursor onto it, a thought bubble popped up, showing what he was thinking. What kind of offering does God need? He does not need infants. Perhaps he does not need people. He granted the tribe miraculous garlic. The world where God lives must not lack food. The forest tribe desecrated the temple and suffered divine punishment. God must have power beyond our imagination. Our things mean nothing to God. Then only those mysterious things we cannot understand or use might be accepted by God. Then the question mark became a glowing bulb. As if he understood something, he jogged into the dense forest. I was a little surprised. This little person's thinking was clearly a level above the others, as if he had awakened wisdom. Soon, he ran back out of the forest, holding an item in both hands as he entered the temple. A small icon appeared in the offering slot. It looked like a short-handled staff, polished from a tree branch, and the text read Vitality Staff, restores 1 stamina and 1 faith every hour. This treasure was made by the forest god and absorbs life force overflowing from nature. When the holder touches it, they can draw vibrant energy from it. It was lost after the forest god fell. Do you wish to accept your believer's offering of the Vitality Staff? I clicked yes, and the staff icon vanished from the offering slot. A short staff the length of a forearm appeared on my black keyboard. My palms started sweating, though I had expected it from the blessing. Passed through the temple into the pixel world. Then in theory, offerings could also come over from that world, but when it truly happened before my eyes, I still held my breath. I carefully picked up the staff. It was not heavy, about the weight of normal wood, covered in vertical grain, yet it felt smooth and delicate, as if coated in clear varnish. The top of the staff split into 2 short forks, like a broken clothesline pole, but tiny buds grew on the branches, making it feel like it was still alive. Holding the Vitality Staff, I felt refreshed. My sore back and waist vanished, as if I were 14 or 15 again, able to game all night and revive after 1 sleep. Magic items from the pixel world really worked in the real world. A line of text appeared on the staff. Stamina can stay at max for 12 hours, meaning as long as I held this staff, I would not need sleep in theory, whether work or school the next day. I would never feel drowsy. My heart surged with excitement. I waved the staff around for a while, before finally calming down. Wait, that was not the point. The real point was the offering. It really could be brought out of the pixel world, without a doubt. There had to be other magic items, like the Vitality Staff in that world. If the temple could keep sending them out, this game was an endless treasure vault. I felt completely energized. With the temple's dimension-breaking power, it would not take long before I escaped my miserable work life and reached the peak of life. Then I turned my attention back to the game. The pixel people returned to the tribe. Smiley faces appeared above them. God liked the offering. Wonderful. So God likes that kind of offering. I will find an even better one. I still think wild boar is best. God will definitely like wild boar. A boar is way better than that branch. I noticed the ones obsessed with boar and fish were both newcomers from the forest tribe, wearing leather vests. The forest tribe lived by gathering and hunting, so they thought prey was the best gift, which was understandable. I searched among the little people, trying to find the one who offered the Vitality Staff, but they all looked the same, with no names or unique features above them, making them hard to tell apart. After searching for a while, I found him inside the temple, barefoot and bare-chested, with a question mark still over his head. A new message appeared. One believer has awakened wisdom. Do you wish to turn him into a prophet? In many ancient cultures, a prophet was someone who received revelation and conveyed a god's will. This pixel person who found the Vitality Staff clearly fit that role. In the pixel world, I needed someone who could understand me, even if he understood only a little. That was better than letting everyone guess blindly. I did not want babies in the offering slot again, so I immediately clicked yes. The tribe gained its first prophet. Under the prophet's guidance and influence, everyone's intelligence rose slightly. The prophet knelt before the statue, then walked out of the temple. As soon as he appeared, everyone surrounded him, as if they knew he had received God's grace. The prophet said, "The offerings God needs are mysterious things we cannot understand or control. From now on, pay attention. If you find anything like that, offer it to God. Then you will receive God's blessing." The prophet is right. Listen to him. Find mysterious items. A mysterious wild boar. I know a magical white boar. No one has ever caught it. I saw a magical fish in the water. It eats all flesh and bones. Very magical. God will surely like it. I looked speechlessly at the last 2 pixel people who spoke. Sure enough, both wore leather vests, even without names or markings. I recognized them at once. They were those same brothers from before. Their obsession with pigs and fish was like fireflies in the dark, impossible to miss. Although the prophet explained what offerings should be, for the next 3 hours, no pixel person found anything similar. Most returned to normal life, planting garlic and nuts, then eating them. Soon, 2 new babies were born in the tribe. The pixel people began assigning hands to care for the newborns. The only one I could guide was the prophet, and I could only move him to chosen places. Whether he understood or discovered anything depended on his own insight. After watching a while, it was already 6:30. My stomach started growling, so I went downstairs and ordered pepper pork fried rice. After wolfing it down, I hurried back. The garlic tribe had changed again. A black bear had come from nowhere and invaded, destroying 2 fields and 1 house, with 2 pixel corpses lying on the ground. Most people hid behind the temple, trembling. The prophet stood beside the temple, holding the tribe's 2 babies. The bear was 2 or 3 times their size. To them, it was like a monster. It was tearing at a corpse on the ground. We finally got 2 newborns, and I was counting on them for faith. Go up and cut my numbers. You want to die? Then let justice fall from heaven. Just as I prepared a lightning strike, I suddenly noticed something was different. 2 pixel people were facing the bear. They wore leather vests and held wooden sticks, circling the bear like hawks, beating its head and backside non-stop while shouting, "Power of the pig! I am as nimble as a fish." Hearing that, it had to be those brothers. I hesitated. If I used lightning now, those 2 might be blasted to ash too, just like the horned helmet leader before. I had to make them pull away first. The tribe could not afford more losses, so I decided to watch a little longer. The 2 pixel people were agile, working together front and back. One struck and ran while the other attacked, leaving the bear attacked from both sides. The sticks did not hurt it much, but they clearly annoyed the bear. Rage appeared over its head. It abandoned the corpse on the ground and chased the 2 little men like mad. This time, the 2 stopped pestering it and fled together toward the forest. I understood. They were trying to lure the bear away, to stop it from hurting more people. Normally, these brothers seemed unreliable, but in a crisis, they really had courage. I immediately selected lightning, predicted the bear's path toward the forest, and kept the blast as far from the brothers as possible. A silver bolt of lightning crashed down. The black bear was struck in the head and killed instantly, while the brothers fell in shock. But after a few seconds, they climbed up alive. I let out a breath of relief, seeing the bear killed by lightning. All the pixel people raised their arms and cheered. Smiley faces appeared over their heads. Only the prophet had a question mark. I clicked the question mark and saw the prophet thinking, why would a bear come out from deep in the mountains? Father had never seen one that huge. Where exactly did it come from? Why did it suddenly attack the garlic tribe? Finally, the prophet handed the babies to someone nearby and walked to the bear's charred body. An exclamation mark lit above his head. Then a text prompt appeared. Something strange happened. It turned into a dead pixel person. The tribe instantly panicked. It's a demon believer. A demon worshiper turned into a bear. He wanted to destroy the temple. He attacked us. A human demon. So scary. There are demons here. I want to leave. 3 pixel people immediately scattered and fled. The population at the top right became 25, and faith dropped by 3 points, counting the 20 faith spent on lightning and the vitality staff's recovery. The temple only had 7 faith left. I scratched my head. After a whole day of hard work, I was back to square one. Being a god was not easy. What bothered me more was this new demon element. It sounded like demons opposed the gods. The tribe had barely been founded, yet demon believers had already attacked. I could not tell if it was random or targeted, but I would have to deal with demons eventually. The prophet found a letter on the demon believer's body. The target was the forest tribe. While the forest tribe's hunters were away, kill as many people as possible. The prophet's question mark became a glowing bulb. I understand. This demon believer who became a black bear went to the wrong place. He mistook our tribe for the forest tribe. That is why he attacked us. Their target is the forest tribe. We are still safe. Only then did the frightened people calm down and start repairing the ruined houses and fields. I opened the temple interface. The garlic in the blessing slot still had not disappeared, which meant I still could not help remotely. The offering slot, however, was empty, and the tribe had brought no new offering. But to my surprise, 2 more pixel people entered the temple. Great God! 2 believers have performed feats beyond their peers. Do you wish to turn them into heroes? I clicked yes without hesitation. White light shone around the 2 pixel people, and the title hero appeared over their heads. Of course, they were those brothers. After the prophet, hero characters could also be guided by me. I selected certain areas and made the 2 heroes move through them to explore and patrol. Compared with the thoughtful prophet, heroes were better at exploring and scouting. After clicking the brothers repeatedly, a detailed character panel opened. Inside were pixel portraits of 2 male heroes. The one who liked pigs was muscular, while the fish lover looked slim and nimble. Both wore the same leather vests and had no other gear. Sure enough, One used to be a hunter, and the other was a fisherman, but their stats were honestly pretty poor. Still, they had awakened from ordinary pixel people, so I could not expect too much. Then I opened the prophet's character panel. His portrait showed him bare-chested, looking up. His identity was farmer, besides knowledge at 13. All his other stats were 0. Luckily, the prophet had a special skill, wisdom. Wisdom was the key for apostles to hear God's will. The wisdom level, the easier it was to improve and understand abilities. I moved the cursor over the 6 stats and hovered over them one by one. The screen showed each stats function, attack, defense, trend, and so on. It was very similar to Heroes of Might and Magic. It seemed that in the future, prophets and heroes could both lead soldiers into battle. But right now, the Garlic tribe had few people, and production was still primitive, with hand farming, no farming tools invented, and no weapon making skills mastered. Forming professional soldiers would still take some time, so I linked the 2 brothers together and sent them exploring the forest. For now, I could only rely on these 2 bare-bones heroes. Hopefully, they would have some luck. A few minutes later, the brothers actually found something in the forest. They discovered the forest tribe's settlement and were warmly received. An exclamation mark appeared above. One of the forest tribe's people. They wanted to trade leather and meat for garlic. So I made the brothers return to the tribe and tell the prophet the forest tribe's request. The prophet fell into thought, and I felt a little conflicted too. Should I tell the forest tribe about the black bear? The garlic tribe was still very weak. Trading with the forest tribe now could attract attacks from demon believers, but it was also a chance to reach the outside world. They could trade for much needed leather and meat and build good relations with the forest tribe. After thinking it over, I selected the prophet and moved him straight into the forest. After all, development was the real priority. If the tribe wanted to avoid being bullied, it had to seize every chance to grow fast. Otherwise, once the forest tribe was destroyed, the demon believers would turn on the garlic tribe. So I could not miss this chance. An exclamation mark appeared over the prophet's head. Somehow, he had arrived at the place. Without realizing it, he had come to the forest. This must be God's will. God believes we should ally with the forest tribe. Then that is what we will do. Then the prophet entered the woods, and a leather-vested man came out to greet him. A narrow path had been cleared in the forest, leading to another settlement deep inside. On my computer screen, the area I could observe expanded outward. From my God's eye view, I could see clearly. The forest tribe had over 100 people, living in all kinds of treehouses. Unlike the garlic tribe, where everyone did everything, the forest tribe had 2 clear jobs. Farmers specialized in planting berries and mushrooms and traded food with others. Hunters used traps and wooden spears to catch birds and rabbits, then traded prey with farmers and made leather from animal hides. Farmers stayed in the tribe to tend berry bushes and mushroom fields, while hunters went deep into the forest or mountains. The forest tribe's leader was called a shaman and wore a wooden mask. The shaman and the prophet kept talking, but none of their words appeared on screen. The 2 were like they had opened a private chat. Even I could not know what they said, but luckily, several messages appeared one after another. The prophet told the forest tribe about the demon attack. The forest tribe's attitude became friendly. The prophet taught the forest tribe how to plant and use garlic. The forest tribe's attitude became close. The blessing was fully complete. Garlic has merged into the world. The forest tribe and garlic tribe have formed a successful alliance. Your faith will spread through the forest tribe. Seeing this string of good news, I felt relieved. The prophet's moves had paid off again and again. With the forest tribe's 100+ people, I at least had a chance to gain new believers, which was exactly the faith source I needed. The alliance also gave the garlic tribe a reliable trade partner. Most importantly, the blessing was finally complete. I quickly opened the temple interface. Sure enough, the blessing slot was empty, which meant I could now send something over again. After a few seconds of excitement, I fell into thought. What exactly did the garlic tribe need most right now? Writing tools? Food? I toyed with the vitality staff as all kinds of ideas flashed through my mind, and everyone seemed useful. Just as I was struggling to choose, another line appeared on the screen. To thank you for granting garlic. The forest tribe offered a sacrifice. My heart leapt. The second offering had arrived. I quickly opened the temple. A green plant appeared in the offering slot, shaped like a cactus. Cactus servant. Restores 1 faith every hour. A loyal servant of God that obeys God's commands. Handles cleaning and worship duties in the temple. A group of reliable, hard-working spirits, usually taking the form of cactus balls, but before a god, they become living servants. I quickly took out the offering, and in an instant, something round appeared on my keyboard. In the blink of an eye, a plump cactus ball sat on my keyboard, about the size of a fist, no different from any cactus sold outside. Its full green body was covered in sharp spines. Then the cactus slowly shook, and grew thin green arms and legs. It bent its knees, pressing its round body to the desk, and bowed to me solemnly. Can you clean? The cactus servant stayed kneeling and nodded. Then clean the floor here. After receiving the order, the cactus servant leapt off the desk, landing gracefully on the floor, then ran across the room on tiny legs. Wherever it passed, dust, hair, and crumbs were swept onto its body, then compressed into little balls like a tiny living vacuum cleaner. Soon, the floor was spotless. Even crumbs in the cracks and old grime were dragged out. The old cracked tiles shone bright and clean, as if they had been polished. I crossed my legs and opened a Coke, watching the cactus work, feeling strangely relaxed. So this was the joy of being a god. But work was not as smooth. Yesterday, I could still sneak off early, but today, the whole company had overtime. The boss must have been upset outside, because he came back and scolded everyone in a meeting, then ordered us to write recent work summaries and submit them before leaving. The whole office sank into a heavy silence. Until he left, no one dared move. Then my co-worker Fong handed me a wafer. Thanks, Fong. I was actually getting hungry. Fong was one of the few permanent staff here. Around 30 years old, single, and about 30. She was not exactly pretty, but she spoke gently and was easy to get along with, because she said I reminded her of her cousin. She looked after me quite a bit, but my mind was full of the simulator. Finally, the boss left. I'll give you a ride. It's on my way. No. Then be careful on your way back. Fong suddenly changed tone. Didn't something happen recently? Some pervert likes knocking people out, then hanging them up with rope. I had heard about it. There were 2 victims, one female college student and one male courier. Both were said to be in therapy. Don't you live in Joyuan community? I nodded, but only wanted to hurry home to the simulator, so I did not talk much and rushed all the way back to my room. Garlic tribe, your god has returned. As I opened the door, on the desk ahead, the cactus servant immediately knelt to greet me. I found my tiny room completely refreshed. The sheets, covers, pillowcases, and curtains all looked a shade brighter. All surface dust and stains had been removed. The wardrobe and nightstand were wiped spotless, and the room carried a faint grassy scent. The only untouched spots were the computer and desk. In the servant's eyes, they seemed to be sacred, untouchable territory. Only a god could touch them. The 24-inch monitor glowed white. Ever since I learned the simulator ran on its own, I stopped turning off the computer and kept the simulator running. When I reached the computer, the garlic tribe had changed again. The tribe population had reached 38. Among the 13 newcomers, some wore leather vests. They were little people from the forest tribe. Others were barefoot wandering locals. And there was even one wild man with messy hair and leaves. Faith had risen to 44, enough for 2 more lightning strikes. The cactus servant and vitality staff provided 2 faith points every hour together. That was fixed income, while new population was variable income. Then came today's main event. I opened my bag and took out a clear plastic pouch filled with light brown seeds, wheat seeds. This was my carefully chosen decision. First, let the garlic tribe eat well. Then they could develop writing, pottery, and even weapons. With enough food, higher needs and new ideas would naturally emerge. A prompt appeared on screen. Do you wish to grant wheat to your believers? Yes. Moments later, outside the temple, exclamation marks popped above the tribe members. They raised their arms and cheered, God's blessing. Long live the miracle. Great God, thank you for granting us wheat. Magical wheat. Delicious food. We can eat our fill. God has given us wheat. We must make good use of it, so God's faith can spread farther across the world. Just like garlic. As expected of the tribe's only educated person, the prophets saw the bigger picture. Faith jumped from 44 to 84. Garlic had increased it by 15, but wheat brought 40 points, so blessings also had different levels of effect. For now, food had a greater impact on the garlic tribe than garlic did before. A while later, the prophet entered the temple and knelt in prayer. A question mark appeared over him. I opened his doubts. Great God, this tribe knows of a frozen apostle of an old god. They wish to offer it to you, but they need us to teach them wheat. Yet wheat is far too precious. My humble wisdom cannot judge this, so I can only pray sincerely to the Almighty Yao God. Can you grant us a revelation? A choice appeared on screen. Do you wish to share wheat with the forest tribe and trade for the apostle? In God's simulator, there was no detailed description of the pixel world, nor a full map or complete data. Even as a god, I had to explore step by step. When the black bear attacked last time, I first thought it was just a wild beast. Only after the prophet checked the body did we identify a demon believer. In a way, I did not know much more than these pixel people. I merely had the identity of a player. They could not understand. Like an outsider god descending into their world. Then I thought, if an outsider god like me existed, then local gods in the pixel world probably existed too. I looked at the vitality staff in my hand and the sleeping cactus in the flower pot. Both treasures had once belonged to the forest god. and the temple showed the forest god had fallen. So his relics had scattered. Was a god like the forest god what they called an old god? Unfortunately, no one could answer that. No one could answer my question. After thinking briefly, I decided to trade. Wheat was precious, but after the alliance, the garlic tribe could hardly monopolize it. Instead of letting them get it free later, it was better to make a fair trade now. After I clicked yes, a bulb lit above the prophet. God, your servant understands. He immediately began a private chat with the shaman, and both sides quickly agreed. The forest tribe people all had smiley faces overhead. Yao God has blessed our tribe with grain. Great Yao God. Then the forest tribe people carried a stone coffin from the forest all the way to the garlic tribe's temple, where the garlic tribe sent it inside. A gray stone coffin icon appeared in the temple interface, named Apostle. I clicked the Apostle screen, and an illustration appeared. Inside the gray coffin lay a woman with black cloth over her eyes. Fine cracks covered her cheeks, and her body seemed sealed in ash-gray clay. Her gray stone shell and the coffin had nearly fused as one. If not for the faint outline of a young girl's face, she would look no different from a statue. Apostle, frozen virgin, belonging to the forest god. Apostles carry out a god's will and commands, and listen to a god's voice. They are vessels for gods to descend into the world. According to the description, an apostle seemed to be a unit a god player could directly control, but waking her would not be easy. I clicked the apostle and received a prompt to revive her. To revive the apostle and convert her into this temple's apostle requires a large amount of faith power. Do you wish to spend 500 faith points to convert the apostle? One lightning strike cost 20 faith, so an apostle equaled 25 strikes. That level of faith cost was far beyond me right now, so I could only set the apostle aside and keep developing while thinking. This frozen apostle was tied to the forest god. The vitality staff was found by the prophet in the forest, and the cactus servant also came from the forest god. Now a frozen apostle was dug up beneath the temple. Clearly, this forest was connected to the forest god somehow. Sadly, I could not talk to the pixel people, and there was no question option. In the end, I focused on tribe construction again. I sent one brother to the river, and moved the other into the forest. One had been a fisherman, the other a hunter, so this suited their strengths. Soon, the two heroes gave feedback. The places with many fish were in deep water and required boats. The tribe needed boats before it could fish. Medicinal herbs were found in the forest with bite marks and bloodstains on them, but they could not identify them. An herbalist was needed. There were resources, but no specialists. I knew I could not rush it, so I relaxed and watched. In the fridge, I found 2 frozen solid corn cobs and boiled them for dinner. While chewing the warm, soft corn, I watched the tribe bustle around, like when I was a child, watching ants on the ground with simple joy. Not long after, it felt like watching ants on the ground. Not long after, snow began falling in the pixel world. Winter had arrived, except for the 2 heroes. The garlic tribe members outside all returned, hiding indoors for warmth. During the day, they gathered branches for firewood and cleared snow around the temple and fields. Fortunately, the wheat had been planted early, and the harvest gave the tribe plenty of food. Facing the harsh winter, the pixel people were not afraid at all. Their heads showed happy expressions. We have wheat. We have enough food. No one will starve this winter. Thank goodness for God's wheat and garlic. Just then, the forest tribe suddenly visited. Unlike their usual trading trips, this time, the shaman personally led them. The prophet welcomed them. A bonfire was lit among the snow as the allies warmed themselves together. An anxious look appeared over the shaman. Friends of the garlic tribe, we face a problem we cannot solve. We beg for your help. 20 hunters of the forest tribe are our finest hunters. They went deep into the forest for one last hunt to prepare for winter, but snow slid down from Mutant Mountain and buried them in the northern forest. We cannot find them. Only divine power can save us. We beg Yao Temple and the almighty Yao God to pity these hunters. If you can help them survive, we will build a temple in our tribe to worship Yao God. We will offer sacrifices and our tribe's loyalty. An exclamation mark popped above the prophet. If you wish to beg for God's protection, then go worship Yao God at the temple. Only the most sincere prayers can receive God's mercy and blessing. The shaman led his people in worship around the temple. I quietly thought over what the shaman said. If I could find those people, the forest tribe would build a temple too. Meaning I could bless 2 tribes at once and receive 2 offerings. But how could I save those hunters buried in heavy snow? I thought of the miracle, blazing sun. It cost 25 faith and should be able to melt the snow. I selected blazing sun, and in the far northern forest area, I stretched the range as wide as possible. Then clicked the northern forest. A brilliant golden light appeared in the sky. The thick white snow quickly vanished, revealing many little people collapsed in trembling. An exclamation mark appeared over the kneeling shaman. Great God! The forest tribe sincerely thanks you for your mercy. We have no doubt in your mighty power. We will build a temple at once. We will build it and worship you. The shaman sent out some of his people, quickly heading north where the snow had melted, and soon retrieved the missing hunters. Just as the shaman promised, the forest tribe also built a temple, but to my disappointment, the temple interface did not change. My plan to double blessings and offerings failed, but there was still a gain. Your miracle has made the forest tribe's attitude worshipful, because they now worship the same God. The forest tribe is merging with the garlic tribe. My spirits lifted. If the forest tribe's 100 people merged in, that would mean a huge boost, over 100 faith. A larger population would also expand the temple's reach, and more manpower would trigger more random events. The faith spent right now would bring steady long-term returns. From what I observed, the forest tribe had no real god belief, no temple, and no totem symbol. The shaman also did not depend on gods the way the prophet did. He was more like an experienced elder, guiding the tribe with ancestral knowledge. That was good for me. If the forest tribe already worshipped another god, there would likely be a faith conflict, and war might even break out between tribes. Now, between the two tribes, a wider road had appeared. Houses were being built along both sides. Some were garlic tribe huts, and some were forest tribe treehouses. The two tribes were growing closer. I waited for them to fully merge, when a ringing sound suddenly came from outside. I lived in an old neighborhood. The alley was empty even by day, and quieter at night. I walked to the window and looked out. Something was swaying under the streetlight, as if something hung from the pole. Looking closer, a person was hanging by rope from the concrete streetlight, and the phone ringtone rang clearly through the alley. I immediately called 110. Hello, police? Someone in the alley outside has been hung up with rope. I'm at the auto factory dorms in Joyuan community. Please come quickly. The police asked for the exact address and situation, then told me not to act recklessly, and said they were coming right away. After hanging up, I felt slightly relieved. This kind of thing was better left to professionals. At that moment, the sleeping cactus servant suddenly jumped onto the windowsill. It faced the person in the alley. Its spine stiffened, as if on high alert. So, did you notice something? The cactus servant nodded. Too bad you can't talk. Great Yao God. If you say I can speak, then your servant can speak. The cactus knelt on the ground and spoke in a strange accent. I was stunned. You can talk? With your permission, your humble servant may speak. What did you notice about that hanging person? Lord God, that is a demon ritual. Demons use cruel and extreme rituals to gain faith. They control believers through fear and shame. Demons? What is the difference between demons and gods? Lord God, demons are evil gods on the other side. Hearing this, I understood. A demon was just another kind of god player. Besides me, someone else was using God Simulator to obtain offerings. I immediately remembered Fong's warning. A pervert had appeared in Joyuan community. I silently warned myself to be more careful. No one could discover the simulator. Once a demon player found out, no one could discover the simulator. Once a demon player found out, they would surely steal my magic items, or even attack me directly. Then it would no longer be just a game. I found a small flower pot, and told the cactus servant, without my permission, you cannot move. You cannot speak. You are just a cactus. Stay inside this pot. Understood? Yes, Lord God. The cactus servant bowed and entered the pot. The phone kept ringing outside, as if calling for help. I looked again at the person hanging from the streetlight. He seemed tired and had stopped struggling. His body became much clearer under the light. He was wearing a black top, and his skin seemed covered in blood. I remembered I had binoculars at home. With their help, my view became even clearer. I actually knew the person under the pole. He was a barber who worked across from the community at a barbershop called Benchmark Haircut. His work name was Anchi, real name unknown, because the prices there were cheap, only 15 yuan a cut. I often went there, so I remembered Anchi. He had light blonde dyed hair, and was probably in his early 20s. He spoke softly, and never forced awkward small talk, so he was not annoying. After the police rescued Anchi, he was terrified, and said nothing. Wrapped in a coat the police gave him, he looked dazed. Strange symbols had been smeared on his body with blood. Those symbols looked like twisted Arabic numerals, connected together, and also like chains, wrapped around his body layer by layer. The police sealed off the scene, and like some kind of chains, wrapped around his body layer by layer. The police sealed off the scene, and came to take my statement. I told them what I had witnessed, but hid the simulator, and everything about demons. By the time it ended, it was 2 in the morning. But holding the vitality staff, I was not tired. I looked at the cactus and the pot on my desk. Have you been to our world before? Your humble servant has come to your divine world for the first time. I was given life by the forest god, but the divine realm of the forest god seemed different from yours. There was water everywhere. I am too small. I cannot understand what the divine realm is. What did the forest god look like? Impossible to see, just like your great form. I cannot describe such a mighty being. I could only vaguely see some shadows revealed by the gods. I pried some information from the cactus. It had no name and was created by the forest god, one of many cactus servants. It spent its life doing chores in the temple. After the forest god bestowed the cactus servants into the pixel world, he never summoned them back. It only knew the temple slowly decayed, which meant the forest god had fallen. In the end, the cactus was buried. When the temple collapsed many years later, the forest tribe dug it up while gathering mushrooms, but only a god could awaken the life locked inside the cactus, so they could not restore its true form. Since you are a relic left by the forest god, then your name will be Restore the cactus to its true form. Since you are a relic left by the forest god, then your name will be Shoyan. The next day, near quitting time, did you hear? That pervert showed up again yesterday, still in your Joyuan community. I told you it was dangerous. Good thing you didn't walk home at night. Running into him would be terrifying. To thank her, I ordered her a small cake and a cup of coffee for delivery. After work, I raced off on a shared e-bike. Compared with the bus, an e-bike avoided traffic and took shortcuts, making it theoretically the fastest ride. Once home, I eagerly sat at the computer. On screen, winter in the pixel world had passed. The snow was gone, replaced by tender shoots and green grass. The garlic tribe opened up more land. While forest tribe members hunted everywhere, everyone had returned to familiar life, seeing the neatly arranged fields of wheat expanding in scale. I, their god, felt delighted. The prophet and shaman stood outside the temple, seemingly chatting privately again. Smiley faces popped up now and then, looking relaxed and easy. The forest tribe once worshipped the old forest god. But those are only stories passed down by elders. They say it happened in the last era. The elders said before the forest god vanished. This forest covered most of the world. Back then, all beasts were friends of the forest tribe. Even fierce demons were tamed as servants. Everyone had a long life and lived alongside trees. They were tamed as servants. Everyone had a long life and lived alongside trees. They possessed power granted by God, but that is far too distant now. So distant that we cannot know what is true and what is false. Since the previous shaman's time, the forest tribe has lacked food for years. Winters grow colder. Animals grow fewer. Shadows of demon believers roam the forest. This forest is withering. My friend, I now need to make a difficult choice. We want to leave the forest and worship at the temple. Can Yao God accept the forest tribe? An exclamation mark appeared over the prophet. Then a bulb lit up. All devout believers will receive Yao God's protection. The garlic tribe welcomes you. A prompt appeared on the screen. The garlic tribe and forest tribe have merged. Faith has increased slightly. The blessing is complete. Wheat has merged into the world. I quickly checked. Faith jumped from 79 straight to 237, and population rose from 38 to 196. I could not help pumping my fist. It worked. The early investment and patient waiting had finally paid off. After the two tribes officially merged, the forest tribe people moved out one after another, learning from the garlic tribe to build huts, open farmland, and plant wheat and garlic. On the other hand, the forest tribe's hunters remained, regularly entering the forest to hunt and bringing back much-needed meat and leather. Gradually, the garlic tribe people also wore leather vests. By appearance alone, the two tribes could no longer be told apart. The new garlic tribe was thriving. But the two brothers ran into trouble. At some point, they had entered the western forest together, reaching the farthest area, where it bordered endless mountains. Then they sent out a warning and ran back toward the tribe. There are enemies in the forest. Enemy attack. The warning from the two heroes made the whole tribe mobilize. Under the prophet and shaman's lead, hunters grabbed wooden spears and stood ready. Soon, the enemies in the forest revealed themselves. A group of savages in hides, holding stone axes. There were only a dozen, but they were fierce. Fighting over 30 hunters at once. Hand over the food, or we kill you. No food, and you all die. The hunters struggled against these savages. Fortunately, the two heroes proved their worth. Holding wooden sticks, they specialized in sneak attacks from behind, with surprise blows and agility. The savages could barely hit them. This fighting style was simple but effective, making the savages suffer again and again. Soon, the savages were driven back, cursing as they retreated. You dare fight back? You're dead. We'll be back. Wash your necks and wait to die. I felt a bit regretful watching. They had not killed those bandits outright, only chased them away. Then the shaman spoke. They are the barbarian tribe. They live in the mountains. They have no wisdom, like beasts wearing human skin. Fierce like wild animals. The barbarian tribe is strong. Every one of them is a powerful warrior. They keep stealing food from nearby tribes. A large part of the forest tribe's food was taken by them. They are demon believers. With demon power, they can turn into beasts. We cannot fight them. I suddenly understood. That last black bear was a warrior from the barbarian tribe, without wisdom and fierce as a beast. No wonder last time, he could not tell garlic tribe from forest tribe and attacked the wrong target. I looked at the potted plant beside the desk. Shoyan. Lord God, your faithful servant awaits your command. The cactus immediately jumped out of the soil, standing straight. Can all demon believers turn into beasts? Lord God, becoming a beast should be one kind of demon power. Only a very few believers known as heroes can awaken demon power and use such abilities. So that was it. Last time, lightning killed the bear but left a body. Because he was originally a hero among demon believers, stronger than normal pixel people. I looked again at the brothers, also heroes. So why did you have no special abilities? Opening their panels, I realized I had judged too soon. The fish-loving hero was level 2. Attack 2, Defense 1, Luck 2, Awaken Skill, Water Seeking. Level 1, able to find water in any environment. The pig-loving hero. Level 2, could find water anywhere. The pig-loving hero. Level, Hunter, Attack 3, Defense 2, Skill, Tracking. Level 1, can identify all kinds of human and animal tracks they had secretly leveled up. These abilities were not combat skills, but their utility was good. With tracking, no wonder they found the barbarian tribe's traces. I misjudged you. Then I looked toward the mountains west of the forest, where the barbarian tribe lived. Offend a god and think you can leave? Not that easy. I immediately made a counterattack plan. First, send both heroes into the western mountains to keep scouting. With tracking and water seeking, they were perfect as scouts. Then I opened the temple interface. The blessing slot was empty again. I dug out a red and yellow children's toy bow from my bag. Pure plastic, with soft rubber arrowheads. Bought from a toy shop after work. For early tribal civilization, bows were powerful. They let people escape dangerous close combat and fight at range, using distance to wear enemies down. Though it was only a toy, the mechanism was the same. I placed the toy bow on the mouse, and the blessing slot gained a red and yellow bow icon. Bow and arrow, gods, blessing, a powerful, long-range weapon. One of the most important weapons for armies and hunters. Do you wish to grant bows to your believers? I clicked yes. Exclamation marks appeared over the garlic tribe. Yao God has sent a new blessing, bows. Magical bows. Amazing weapons. A new blessing, bows. Magical bows. Amazing weapons. We no longer fear enemies. The hunters reacted the strongest, with smiles over their heads and dancing in excitement. They quickly made bows of their own, then rushed happily into the forest. A question mark appeared over the prophet. Bows, long-range weapons. God wants to arm us, so we no longer suffer threats. God's will is for us to fight the demon believers and defeat those evil savages. That must be it. The shaman thought differently. Bows are like tongue shot from frogs. Those who hold bows can hunt from a safe distance. Once equipped with bows, we can hunt rabbits and monkeys, and even shoot down birds. When facing snakes, bears, and wolves, we need not fear injury. We need more bows. Everyone can become a warrior. A prompt popped up. Your blessing has taught your believers to make and use bows. Faith has increased. Faith rose by 30 at once, becoming 267. After mastering bows, the garlic tribe visibly grew stronger. Every pixel person heading out carried a bow. Hunters began bringing back large prey like bears and deer. More leather covered the huts, and more dried meat hung on racks. Then news came from the two heroes. A new tribe was found, the Salt Pool tribe. They heard we had grain and wanted to trade. Instead of finding the barbarians, they found something else. I pulled the brothers back to the tribe, and they returned with people from the Salt Pool tribe. Two little people in linen clothes, carrying cloth bags, looking quite wealthy. As soon as they arrived, they spoke with the prophet and shaman about trade. The Salt Pool tribe trades with many tribes. We exchange salt for grain, clothing, and herbs. We hope to trade salt for your wheat. A question mark appeared over the prophet. This seemed like an opportunity. He had to try spreading faith for God.